are living in unprecedented times, yada yada yada. Which, I don't know, I even hate that I opened it up that way. Just because I've said it a few times, and it's too tongue-in-cheek, because I'm about to say something about the president, right? An interesting development that, there's reason to be skeptical, sure. This kid's gonna take a minute. There's reason to be skeptical. Reason to be cynical. Right? The only thing that you have to, like, honestly, the only thing you really have to fucking concern yourself with these matters is the A, how the investigation is conducted, and B, does it hold any goddamn fucking teeth? So, the White House officially established a task force. I think it's like a task force or something like that. Is going to investigate all the billions of America's situation, right? They want the clarity, right, of JFK, RFK, MLK. So they're gonna do all that. Then they are going to jump into this was just a list. It's all happening at the same time. Just saying, this is the order in which she mentions them, and she just lists it off. UAPs. So we are officially back in the world of investigating, flying saucers, right? We're back to, we have opened up a new Blue Book. We're in a new Project Blue Book era, right this second, right? And this is being done as a full-throated press release, you have to understand, right? You know, this is a White House press thing, what is going to happen for sure is that a new official history of those events is going to be conceived, okay? That is either going to be new because it is the truth, or new because it is the amended cover-up, okay? We already know enough, such as, like, I think they just released a thing about the second shooter situation, right? So far, I'm not impressed with what they've said about MLK. Thus far, the only thing I understand about the MLK situation is, surprise, he's gay. Okay? Alright, so, fine. Alright, yay. Big whoop. My dog ate my homework. Hi, how's it going? And Connie Cepeda. Yo. Alright. How you guys doing? I don't think I've seen you before. You're probably just pickups from YouTube. I talk about all sorts of shit. Do not be accustomed to a great deal of, quote, political talk. But that is going to be a consequence of current events conversation. Okay? And so UAPs as well as submersibles. So they're taking seriously all these things. Guess what? They really do have to. Like, my good friend Corey at Phoenix Enigma is highly skeptical, and I'm just like, broski. All right. Trump, some of the most major aspects of Trump getting elected is people like Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. But also, it's the fact that we have all manner of government documents, right? We are trying to have a moment of clarity here because the departmentalization of the entrenched bureaucracy that has been established in the manner that it has since pretty much the development of the National Security Agency. Look, there's all manner of investigations coming from all different places. This task force is probably going to find corresponding evidence to what the Doge guys write. You're going to watch them put it all together. You know, it's not an accident that in the zeitgeist of things, Trump uses the vernacular when he talks about how he talks to people, when he goes on tour, so on and so forth, as, quote, weaving. Weaving. Weaving is a vernacular that is only coming from those people who do these people that podcast and stuff that, you know, they're in a stream of consciousness, right? Nobody is just talking to each other in remembered responses, right? Most of the conversations that you hear out there between various people that are not on the spectrum, they are just fucking, they're not thinking about what they say. They're overriding their thoughts to an automatic response because of politics, because of being, quote, polite. Because this is, quote, polite conversation, right? Which way are you capable of truly having a conversation, not even about directly politics, but about the social fucking stratum of your world, which is the thing that baseline consciousness for the normies is at. You know, the guy who doesn't believe in their own ability to be remarkable, doesn't want it, thinks that it's a horrible burden or something, right? Believe me, once I realized it's not a horrible burden at all, I was perfectly good. That's why it became very easy for me to jump into the person that I am now by that point, right? I had to get a lot of other problems with my life out of the way, and I'm still fixing things that I should have fucking figured out with my life 20 years ago. But my fucking development has been, up until a certain point, exactly as they wanted it to go. Now, if I can seize control of my personal timeline, of my personal development, then the strength of those who know themselves pushing the consciousness force in a direction just by your subtle influence can be all it takes to make a legitimate win in the world. Right? There is a legitimate will to change the world that is in sympathetic resonance with how the White House cares to do what it wants to do. And we had come to one of the ugliest levels that we had ever seen of a representative republic failing to listen to the body politic to inform its check and balance on the president. And then this is why we are at where we're at now, right? Which is the populism situation. And so, all of these different vaguely unifying principles that is carrying this signal that is mostly in the Republican Party, because of years and years and years of the libertarian conspiracy theorist angle to things that got in, was temporarily co-opted by the Tea Party, right? And I see that, I believe that America has developed a certain sufficiency. There's a different level of open to possibility in the public that doesn't want to hear that what comes upon the horizon is going to be bad news about who we will continue to be, right? It was one thing to say, like, oh my god, conspiracy, the Nazis run the deep state. Oh my god, we're Nazis, right? It's just like, oh my god, we just found out that Nazis were running the deep state. We were Nazis. And we better fucking fess up to the fact that we were fucking Nazis, because of how sympathetic we were to these people who, this is their low-key agenda. We turned a blind eye to them doing it. Okay? This is, in theory, what happened to Germany, because Germany didn't know what it was to be a Nazi. Now, I don't believe facts and statistics, and I don't believe in emotional manipulation. I don't believe in emotional coercion and things of this manner, right? So, don't talk to me about fucking how many people died in a Holocaust. All I know is that you spent so much time getting drunk on your low opinion of the Jews because of the conspiracy that you forgot the humanity of the Jews because you lumped them all in with a teeny tiny handful of motherfuckers. A teeny tiny handful of motherfuckers and the whole fucking race gets scapegoated? That is no fucking way to be a fucking human being. Right? This is my fucking issue. With the overt anti-Semitic fucking thing that is dealt with because of vernacular problems of what we mean by, quote, Jew. You know, so at any rate, the UAPs and the submersibles, that's quite a thing to fucking get into, right? And especially because some of that stuff is going to tie back to, you know, fucking the Nazi Bell, the Die Glock, and other things that they were working on that was part of our deal with Paperclip, right? Because there's enough that's already accepted as public fact, just like the facts of Werner von Braun, because it's supposed to be a goddamn selling point, a prideful collaboration with NASA and Disney via Werner von Braun, the same Disney that's got all your fucking Stepford Wives psycho bitches that fucking have Tinder profiles that love Disney movies. Weird fourth wave feminist cult. So So, then the next things on the list, I don't think I'm missing anything here, is 9/11 and the origins of COVID-19. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that Trump's gonna say, let's open up an investigation on the disease that was developed while I was presiding over the country as 45. You know, who he personally had already made a determination that it came from China, and that it seems to be a common sense determination based on the tracking of things, right? And so that's also a question of our ability to rely on forensic evidence, scientific evidence of how they do things in China, right? So I would assume that that's why we're doing this, because I'm assuming that that's why the world was open in a certain way because of medical status quos, right? Because of how much medicine had been a big part of everything. Like you have, like certain countries you're not allowed to travel to unless you get certain, treatments. You get certain shots before you go places or when you come back from places, right? So the assumption is that we can trust the scientific procedure that is recorded on data by the standards of their government, yada, yada, yada. We have agreements, right? We have agreements and we have international standards. And so China's got to play ball with something because the whole world needs to play fucking ball. And look, man, we can be as pessimistic as we want, or we can say that we can look at the normies as those that are above the normies with our elevated positions in consciousness, and say, are they making any progress as a whole, as a collective, or are they still just shaking their booties? All right. Well, I still see about 40% booty shaking, but all these guys are pretty sure we didn't go to the moon. Right? That's all. Like, look at it as a whole and say, is there enough of these people, right? Because, look, it's not about the fact that, like, your belief system has been validated. This is not about, like, my fucking universe, my worldview is being validated. Which, if it's not, I get to be a fucking pessimist. Especially if there's a no-win fucking scenario. And, we gotta have skeptics and pessimists, and, I'm not saying don't be those things. I am saying frame your fucking state of mind right to fucking champion that position constructively. Be constructive in your own decorum on these manners, which will then hold more weight when you throw pessimism out there, because people will know from everything else that you've done that you suggest a better answer, a real better answer, something to take us out of just spiraling in the miasma of speculation. This is where it fucking matters. This is the difference between who wants conspiracy cottage industry, meaning that you never solve JFK, so you can make your next speculative JFK fucking thing when you still fucking haven't gotten any closer, and you don't even think that the government should bother, because it's not going to matter anymore. It's been 20 years since then. What's it going to change? I don't know. That's why we do the investigation. The cover-up and its persistence is not just about personal salvation at that point. Like I don't want to go to jail for murdering this guy, right? No. It's not a solo crime in that regard. This is a whole bunch of people that had to plan a thing and set up a patsy for it and everything. This is a very holy shitty kind of fucking circumstance for a lot of people. One guy with a whole lot of power isn't gonna fucking do that. He's gonna be in a fucking conspiracy, so that way he's lost in the weeds of an investigation that may never be settled until he's dead. Maybe, like George Herbert Walker Bush. Maybe George W. Bush is like, my dad's finally fucking dead. I don't have to fucking save his ass. And Yeah, and it ain't gonna matter to me because I'm already old and fucking retired, and the people that like me already know. Or whatever, and then that's the rest of George W. Bush's life on that issue. Right? Because George H.W. Bush is dead, you can't fucking do anything other than give him like a post-mortem fucking condemnation or something. I guess that's the way to say it. You know, post-mortem condemnment. You know, you trial him, you know, as a corpse. Something like that. So yeah, so COVID-19 and fucking 9/11, and 9/11 is going to be interesting because Trump's words about 9/11 in 2001 are still out there circulating in the ethers of YouTube. Big time. Always has been. A lot of people, tremendous amount of people have seen it. I think everybody who likes Trump, somebody in their circle would say, oh, you like Trump? Look at what he said about 9/11. That's why I like Trump, right? So everybody knows something's going to be up with that. Hey, what's up, Mormon Rishi? You, glad you're here? You're a mod now. All right. Okay, guys, I got to go pick up some V-Day flowers for my mum. I will catch you later.